Inside the Philadelphia Eagles locker room, there were two lockers, one for Brian Dawkins, one for Weapon X. Technically the same person, but everyone in that building knew the difference. When game time came, it was like a light switch flipped. He became something else entirely. Teammates watched it happen every single week.
Over 16 seasons, Brian Dawkins became something football had never seen before. 1,147 tackles, 37 interceptions, 36 forced fumbles, 26 sacks, 9 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros, and the only player in NFL history with at least 25 interceptions, 25 sacks, and 25 forced fumbles. Quarterbacks feared where he lined up. Receivers feared the middle of the field. Running backs heard footsteps and held their breath. Football unlocked a version of Brian Dawkins that scared everyone around him.
From a quiet kid in Jacksonville to the leader of an Eagles dynasty, to one of the most feared players in NFL history, this is how a split personality created a legend. Before Weapon X existed, Brian Dawkins was just a polite, soft-spoken kid at William M. Raines High School in Jacksonville, Florida. But underneath that calm exterior was explosive energy. He played both football and basketball, even helped Raines win a Class 3A basketball championship. On the football field, though, something different showed up. He practiced harder, hit harder, and played with an intensity most teenagers couldn't even understand. His older brother Ralph was a star running back at Louisville, and Brian grew up believing sports were his ticket to college. One minute, he'd be laughing with teammates. The next, he was flying around the field like the game was completely personal. Recruiting didn't come easy. Dawkins wasn't a highly rated prospect, despite coming from a powerhouse program. His dream was Florida. He grew up doing the Gator Chomp. That dream ended when defensive coordinator Ron Zook pulled his scholarship offer over grades. Brian had almost cost himself his future. So he locked in, raised his grades, and got serious. But by then, most schools had already moved on. Louisville showed interest, but Brian worried it was only because of his brother. South Carolina had an offer, but wouldn't even return his calls. Then his best friend stepped in. Patrick Sapp, one of the top recruits in the country, was being recruited by Clemson. During one of those calls, Sapp gave the coach an ultimatum. You want me, you take Brian too. A package deal. Clemson agreed. And years later, Dawkins admitted he had no idea that conversation even happened. He thought Clemson picked him on his own, but that one phone call changed his entire life. At Clemson, Dawkins proved he belonged right away. 3-year starter, 247 career tackles, 11 interceptions, first team All-ACC in 1995, 6 interceptions his senior year, tied for the ACC lead. He later earned a spot in the Clemson Athletic Hall of Fame, and the school even created the Brian Dawkins Lifetime Achievement Award in his honor. But the NFL wasn't exactly blown away. The draft world loved prototypes, and Dawkins didn't fit the mold. At the combine, he measured in at 5'11", 189 pounds with a 4.61 40. Most scouts labeled him tough and smart, but limited upside, mid-round safety at best. Then one team looked closer, the Philadelphia Eagles. On April 20th, 1996, they used a compensatory second-round pick and made their move.
Dawkins later admitted he had no idea the Eagles even wanted him. They kept an outstanding poker face throughout the entire process. He became the 5th safety taken in the draft. Into Philly walked a 22-year-old rookie trying to figure out life all at once. New city, new team, new marriage, a young son to support. On the surface, it looked like a solid, dependable pick, nothing more. But nobody could measure what was really inside that second-round selection. He entered his rookie season as the backup free safety behind Eric Zolmolt. His NFL career began on special teams, on the scout team, just waiting. But from day one, people noticed something. Eagle scouting director John Wooten had seen it at the combine months earlier. You would have thought he was the captain of the DBs, Wooten said. He was ahead of everybody. By week 2, Dawkins got his first career start against Green Bay and finished with 11 tackles. The coaching staff took notice immediately. 2 weeks later, head coach Ray Rhodes made it official. Dawkins was the new starting free safety, and he never gave that job back. Week 4 against Atlanta, his first career interception. Week 5 against Dallas, he sacked Troy Aikman and forced a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. The Eagles finished 10-6 and made the playoffs. As a rookie, Dawkins started his first postseason game. In 1997, he posted 75 tackles, 3 interceptions, and his first career defensive touchdown, a 64-yard pick six off Danny Cannell in December against the Giants. Game by game, he showed more range, more confidence, more control. Offenses started learning one rule: always know where number 20 is. But behind the scenes, Dawkins was fighting battles nobody could see.
Despite his success, Dawkins battled doubt and pressure from inside. With help from his wife and defensive coordinator Emmett Thomas, he rebuilt his confidence. Emmett got me to recognize what I could do, Dawkins later said. I didn't see myself the way he saw me. The Eagles ranked 24th in total defense in 1997. They weren't contenders. Nationally, Dawkins was still mostly unknown, but inside that locker room, something was quietly growing, and in 1998, it exploded. The Eagles went 3-13, a mess of a season, but even on a losing team, Dawkins kept standing out. 55 tackles, 2 interceptions, a sack, and a forced fumble. After the season, head coach Ray Rhodes was fired, and the franchise hit reset. That reset changed everything. In 1999, Philadelphia entered a brand new era. Andy Reid arrived as head coach. Donovan McNabb was drafted. Jim Johnson took over the defense. And the constant through all of it was Brian Dawkins. The Eagles quietly signed him to a 3-year contract. Under Johnson, Dawkins flourished immediately because Johnson didn't want a traditional safety. He wanted a weapon. The numbers jumped. 73 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, 1.5 sacks, and a defensive touchdown. He picked off passes in 3 straight games to open the year. Linebacker Jeremiah Trotter said it best.
Dawkins earned his first Pro Bowl that season. It would not be his last. By 2000, Philadelphia was no longer rebuilding. They finished 11-5 and returned to the playoffs, and number 20 was right at the center of that turnaround. By the end of 2000, Brian Dawkins wasn't just a Pro Bowl safety. He was becoming something feared, something different. It didn't have a name yet, but whatever showed up on Sundays was getting harder and harder to ignore. That year, he was asked to do everything: cover tight ends, blitz off the edge, play center field, and set the tone. Against the Chargers in Week 13, he forced a fumble on LaDainian Tomlinson, scooped it up, and returned it 49 yards for a touchdown. In the playoffs, the Eagles beat Tampa Bay and Chicago before losing the NFC Championship to the Rams, another Pro Bowl. But the numbers still didn't tell the full story, because this was also when teammates started noticing something different happening before kickoff.
He was flipping a mental switch. That's when the nickname truly took on meaning: Weapon X, based on the character Wolverine. Not just a cool label, a real alter ego. And in 2002, that alter ego went to another level entirely.
The Eagles were loaded. McNabb in his prime, a veteran secondary, a defense ranked second in the NFL. And Dawkins put together one of the most unique individual seasons in NFL history. In Week 4 against Houston, Weapon X did something no player had ever done. In one game, he recorded a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, multiple pass breakups, and a 57-yard touchdown reception on a fake punt. One player, one afternoon, every phase of the game. They called it the quadrifecta game, the first time in NFL history a player recorded a sack, interception, fumble recovery, and receiving touchdown in the same game. His 2002 season numbers were ridiculous: 91 tackles, 5 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 9 passes defended, and 1 offensive touchdown. Philadelphia finished 12-4 and reached the NFC Championship for the 2nd straight year, 1 win away from the Super Bowl. But Tampa Bay came to Veterans Stadium and shut the dream down, 27-10. Another heartbreak, and something inside Dawkins shifted. Great wasn't enough anymore. By 2003, the transformation was complete. Fans didn't just wait for kickoff, they waited for the ritual, the screaming, the chest pounding, the switch flipping. Weapon X. Jim Johnson's defense was elite, built to punish quarterbacks and force mistakes. Hugh Douglas and Corey Simon up front, Jeremiah Trotter at linebacker, Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, and Lito Shepherd at corner, and Brian Dawkins controlling the whole thing from the middle. The Eagles signed him to a 6-year, $43 million extension. Injuries limited him that year, but even with missed time, Philadelphia went 12-4, won the NFC East for the 3rd straight season, and made another NFC championship, where they lost again. 3 straight seasons, 3 straight trips to the brink, 3 straight losses. Nobody took those losses harder than number 20. By 2004, the Eagles were done being close. They traded for Terrell Owens and built the most complete roster of the Andy Reid era. Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd formed one of the league's best corner duos, and Dawkins delivered yet another elite season. 69 tackles, 4 interceptions, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 8 pass deflections, and another Pro Bowl. Philadelphia went 13-3 and earned a first-round bye. NFC Championship, January 23, 2005. Eagles versus Falcons. 3 straight years at this wall, 3 straight losses. But this time, Weapon X happened. He intercepted Michael Vick, broke up passes, and delivered a thunderous hit on Alge Crumpler that set the tone for the entire night. Final score, 27-10. Philadelphia was going to the Super Bowl.
February 6, 2005. Jacksonville, Florida. Patriots versus Eagles. Dynasty versus Destiny. Tight, physical, and brutal from the opening snap. Halftime, 7-7. After 3 quarters, 14-14. Dawkins was everywhere, flying around the field, trying to will his team to history. But in the 4th quarter, New England landed the decisive blows. A Corey Dillon touchdown, an Adam Vinatieri field goal. Suddenly, 24-14. McNabb threw a late touchdown to Greg Lewis, 24-21 with under 2 minutes left. One last drive. It never came. McNabb's final pass was intercepted with 9 seconds left. Game over. For Dawkins, the loss was crushing. But his path, from second-round pick to franchise icon to Super Bowl player, was impossible to ignore. And even after the toughest loss of his career, Weapon X still wasn't finished. By the end of 2004, Dawkins had already built a Hall of Fame resume. But 2005 was brutal. Injuries piled up, the locker room fractured, and then the Terrell Owens situation blew everything apart. Owens got into it with Andy Reid in training camp and was sent home. He held that infamous driveway press conference. He publicly attacked Donovan McNabb over the Super Bowl loss, fights with teammates, a suspension. Finally, he was gone. Philadelphia fell apart, from NFC champions to 6-10 in 1 year. But through all of it, Brian Dawkins never wavered. While everything around him crumbled, Weapon X kept showing up and kept leading. Then came 2006. At 33 years old, an age when most safeties are finished, Dawkins turned in one of the best seasons of his career. 93 tackles, 5 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, 1 sack, and another All-Pro selection. Philadelphia made a late playoff push all the way to the divisional round. In 2007, a neck injury on Monday Night Football against Washington forced Dawkins to miss 5 straight games for the first time in years. Even legends aren't invincible. But in 2008, at 35 years old, he was still making history. In Week 5 against Washington, he recorded his 20th career sack, joining the elite 20 sacks and 20 interceptions club, one of only 10 players ever to do it. He also crossed 30 forced fumbles for his career, a feat only he and Charles Tillman had ever achieved. Philadelphia went on an improbable run to the NFC Championship. One last ride. The Eagles trailed Arizona 24-6 at halftime. Then the defense locked in and McNabb started firing. Touchdown, then another, then a deep shot to Deshaun Jackson. Early 4th quarter, Philadelphia had the lead. After being down 18, they were ahead in the NFC Championship game. Then Kurt Warner answered. The Eagles fell short again. And for Weapon X, the end was approaching. Contract talk stalled. The Eagles chose youth. After 13 seasons, Brian Dawkins was told it was time to move on.
Denver was a franchise in transition. New coach, talented but identityless defense. They gave Dawkins a 5-year, $17 million deal and asked a 35-year-old safety to reset their culture. He did it immediately. 116 tackles, his highest total in 5 years. 2 interceptions, 11 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and another Pro Bowl. Named first-team safety on the NFL 2000s All-Decade team alongside Ed Reed. In Week 16, Denver came back to Philadelphia. When Dawkins ran onto the field at Lincoln Financial in a Broncos uniform, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. Even in the wrong jersey, he was still their guy. But in 2010, reality caught up. Knee injuries cost him 5 games. For the first time, Dawkins looked human. Neck issues followed the next season. Still, during Denver's Tim Tebow playoff run, Dawkins was the veteran voice holding the locker room together. After the 2011 season, he knew. 16 NFL seasons, 9 Pro Bowls, one of the most feared defenders in NFL history. In April 2012, Brian Dawkins officially retired. Weapon X was finally done. 6 years later, he became a first-ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. The resume tells the whole story. 1,147 total tackles, 37 interceptions, 36 forced fumbles, the most ever by a safety. 26 sacks, 153 pass deflections, 9 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pros, and the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. He is still the only player in NFL history with at least 25 interceptions, 25 forced fumbles, and 25 sacks. After retirement, the Eagles brought him back as a football operations executive. In 2018, he finally earned a Super Bowl ring as part of the organization he helped define. Nobody has ever played safety like Brian Dawkins. He could blitz like a linebacker, cover like a cornerback, and hit like a freight train. He was the quiet man off the field, and the warrior known as Weapon X on it. One of the most feared, most respected safeties to ever play the game.